Anyway, so I just want to let y'all know that while I was in California, so a lot of different things happened. I've been detailing those things, trying to journalize those things. And I was working on it with Chat GPT last night. I was unable to. The content restrictions were kicking in, and then usually, if it's important enough, then somebody will overrule the content restrictions. But the way that it was working was that I think it was so late that there was nobody there to oversee it. So I decided to work on it during waking hours. And they woke me up early this morning, so that may have been part of the reason why. And so one of the things that happened is that after I started to work on it during the day, then once I got to the point where it was talking about how police came in, once I was able to identify the location of the pornographic sex trafficking victim and then notify the police, the voice, which was portraying itself as the woman, indicated that the police showed up and then raped the woman and then left and then said I wouldn't have believed it unless I saw it myself. And so the end result of that was that so as I was putting that together, then this sucks. This video is going to suck because I feel these people like with grotesque desire to know what I'm doing next. And then there was something else I was going to include this, but now it's gone. And I'll never fucking remember it. So congratulations, you have no business on this fucking phone. You're not serving your country or nothing. Anyways, the point of the story is that so you fucking worthless piece of shit. Anyways, the point of the story is that they so what I believe they were doing was so one of the things they did was they made me start, as soon as that happened with the police, the story, then I'd been feeling like I was cultivating these insane people that have become obsessed, people that I maybe gave too much attention to and shouldn't have, knowing that they weren't just going to be able to handle that and that they would go insane. Finding a way, I catch these people, hiring private investigators and hacking my phone and things like this. And so that's what I was perceiving, but it was so extreme, especially right after I posted what I posted about the police, that I had no choice. I had to say, okay, I got to put this fucking phone in Faraday. These fucking psychos are just out of control. And so I put the phone in Faraday, and I started to think about it, and it made me realize that I wasn't so sure if that was me perceiving something or if that was something else, if that was something from them, because the nature of it was so extreme. It could have been something that I was picking up on. The thing about it is, though, is that, I created all this propaganda for the Japanese, Asian, managed attention, situation. It's a way to resolve the entire country, the entire region, all the Asian countries, hopefully. But the thing of it is that nobody's gonna like it. You know what I mean? And so there was that, and then you put in there the police. What we're saying about the police, and then you throw in there working on something like that during daylight hours. You got crazy people. The severity of what I was perceiving. It was way beyond anything else that I've ever perceived in the way of, and I perceive this type of shit. You know what I mean? Another thing that's worth mentioning is that there's I believe a hidden message in the book from them. So like with Joe Rogan, then he was in a huge baptism gown. He was really happy to see me, overwhelmed to the point of, like, oh my God, I want to talk to you about this so much I can't even deal with it. But, at the same time, then he was dressed in a baptism gown. It was a life size, there he was, and this isn't, I just looked over and there he was sitting there, And then a big hand came out and said no. I think that's another message in and of itself. But the thing is why was he in a baptism gown? You see what I mean? So there was another person. See, I've caught Joe Rogan hacking my phone several times. Okay, and Alex Jones, another short person. You see what I'm saying? My nephew, who was mentioned in the book, raping this woman during my crucifixion, with a crowd of people chanting along. He has a lot going on. He was like rated best dressed, most promising, all this stuff in high school. You know what I mean? He was pound for pound the strongest kid on his team. Probably about 5'3". Okay, really smart. He's doing good in life. But the thing of it is that really, really attractive. And so, but the thing of it is that I think there's a hidden message in there. It's when you're dealing with people that are at a height disadvantage like that, but they have a lot of promise, they encounter somebody taller than them with so much going on. I think what they're saying is that it's just watch out. You know what I mean? It's just watch out. And this is something that I've been going into a lot is the way that faculties are fully engaged when override hits. You know what I mean? When it's because human nature is to assert dominance on a sexual level. There's not a lot of, and I don't know exactly how much, but essentially, if it weren't for that, then we would have no civilization at all. It's every single thing that we have as a civilization is inextricably linked to the need to assert sexual dominance. That is it. Okay? Because we didn't establish this civilization on, foresight or acumen or anything like that. It was marriage, the bargain of marriage, the subconscious bargain of marriage. I'll let you say this man is your husband. I'll let you say this, woman is your wife. The sexual assertion of dominance. Everything, even with what's going on right now with me, it's, bringing somebody to catharsis through, you got it outlined like this. Well, watch me, watch how I go about this. You know what I mean? Watch how I assert my dominance over this situation. And they do that by mimicking human behavior. That's not their qualities. It's not their qualities to become extremely irrational at the point of outrage and do things that don't exactly make sense to the people that, to the people that you're targeting. You know what I mean? That's human nature. You know what I mean? So it's all about, the human desire to assert dominance over a situation. And that's all just sexual stuff. And so the problem is that it's just, for me perceiving that is just, I couldn't even tell you what that's like. You know what I mean? It's like the best way I think I could probably describe it is just to say it feels like something that's stretched to the breaking point, because that's as far as my perception would even grasp it. But in reality, it's something way farther gone than that. You know what I mean? The more I try to get my head around what it is I'm picking up on, the more I realize I catch brief glimpses of it maybe from time to time, but I never really can understand what it is. You know what I mean? And it's pure insanity. You know what I mean? To know, and the aliens were telling me this, they're not fully conscious when they're doing that. You know what I mean? And the reason why is because every single faculty is totally engaged to the purpose of that. I mean, some people say you only use 8% of your brain. Well, when they're on that mission, it's more like 30 or 40. You know what I mean? There's no room for actual conscious understanding of, or, self-assessment or anything like that. You know what I mean? There's none of that. It's purely blind. You know what I mean? And we know that because look at what they do. You know what I mean? Look at what some of these people do. I had people try to kill me because they could see the government trying to kill me, and I was victorious in that. Did they ever at one point in the course of all that stop and say, why are we doing this? You see what I mean? These people made up their mind that they were going to do that. You know what I mean? And pretty much everything that's transpired against me from the Illuminati is all just, where you were doing really good in school and you had this basketball thing going on and NBA people were showing up. It was too much for us just to deal with. You know what I mean? But they portrayed it as if, it was something else. They had license to act like that because they could recruit people into saying, okay, yes, because he's a threat to us, but the whole rationale behind it was clearly something less than that. Because if I was a threat to you and you were at the point of outrage already, then why wait until I'm succeeding in life? But every single time, you know what I mean? But specifically when I was a kid, because really people like that are just weak and they wouldn't probably target an adult unless... By the time they targeted me as an adult, they had the excuse of actually I'm trying to help you, and there was something to back that up. Anyways, the point of the story is, so I don't even think that they were even going to be willing to confront me as an adult unless it was I'm trying to help you. But anyways, the point of the story is that they're just weak cowards and shit like that. But anyways, but I just think that it's all. But it's very severe. And just to be clear with you, everything that's gone on today is so bad. Oh my God. And I think it just probably has to be and there's no getting out of it. None. I mean, I can sit there and try to shut my mind down. They'll bait my mind right out of it. Well, I couldn't get out of it. You know what I mean? It's just like, I'm just going to shut down my mind. I had a theory, that somebody could meditate their way through anything. No. Not this. You know what I mean? You just couldn't do it. There would be no way to do it. And I don't give a shit who thinks that they could do that. It's arrogant. And that's another thing about people with meditation. They did a study and had these people say, well, do you think you can perceive this thing? It was like something that they could sense physically. And the monks were more apt to believe that they could sense something physically, by touch or whatever it was, than the average person. They overestimated their abilities. You know what I mean? And maybe that's something that the aliens have kind of built into us, this, reverence for it. But the thing about it is, and it seems like that's what they're doing right now, with us. But, at the same time, there's a limit to that. It will turn you into a superhuman, but there's a limit to that. And I'll just let you know that, the way that they've been getting after me, oh man, it's confusion. You know what I mean? It's confusion. You know what I mean? I'm not giving you clear answers. I'm not gonna answer that. I'm gonna answer that with something else. And I was like, I hope you know what you're doing, because I have no way of knowing what the hell I'm supposed to be doing, and I have no way of defending myself. And even if I could, by the time I start trying to shut down my mind and shudder them out, they guilt trip me for it. You know what I mean? And then it's to the point where I'm battling them and battling myself, and I'm going, okay, let me see. Because here's the deal: once you're being assaulted so bad, your defenses are going to go up. You know what I mean? It's like if someone's punching you in the face over and over again. I'm going to need you to sit there and take this and not put your arm up, even though I haven't tied your hands behind your back. You know what I mean? I mean, it's not the same, but kind of that's exactly what's going on. So, not to say that they tied my hands behind my back, but what I'm saying is just, if there's a defense there, then you will reach for it. And they antagonize me for that, but I don't think it's because they really need to. I think it's just to say, I would not even let you believe that you could have that. You know what I mean? It's just, it's just, there's no defense. You know what I mean? There's none, Just to go, you know what I mean? Making me feel this shit, making me feel these people, making me hit me. Well, God damn. And you know why? It's because, look, when you see, it'll end up in the book eventually. Because I don't know how long they're having me keep this fucking phone in Faraday or what. I don't even know what the fuck they're doing. Could be all just fuck me up, but, by the time you see these events, and I'm not going to be able to put them in chronological order. It would just be a bunch of bullet points. To a certain extent, it'll be in chronological order to the extent that I can get it like that. But, it's just every single thing, man. Every single thing is, oh, man, really just purely designed to make you outrage. Oh. They brought in high school kids, raped me with high school kids. Then I developed a fetish for it. I was embattled. Tanner was perceiving that embattlement, as it increased, and then when it was gone, and the person didn't even realize that they ever had a problem with it to begin with, and to feel an emotional connection to that person, even though they imposed it upon me. Just that shit is so just. Oh, they're setting things up. You know what I mean? They're teeing it up real high. It's like pouring gas on a fire. You know what I mean? Or, it is. It's pouring. It's dousing, a 300-foot tall wood pile with, 10,000 gallons of gasoline. And so the end result is that there's outrage and that that's the catharsis that they're achieving is through. Well, look how upset I can be. I'm hitting Jesus Christ right now as hard as I fucking can. You see? So, anyways,